How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth the buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I'd just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, all right? How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get into the day and see what is going on. A bit of a, I even hesitate to say a down day. I mean, realistically, yes, it is. Sure, it's a down day. We were down 4.66%, ending the day at $54.06. But in the scheme of things, I mean, looking at this chart, right, we are still respecting this level of support. Realistically, I do have this ascending level of support looking like to hold above, $53. So I am hoping for a hold above $53. And as long as we keep that, then that's fantastic, right? If we do break below $53, I still think we have that 51.27, we'll call it $51, sure, of level of support here. And I'm still looking for these levels, right? Solid consolidation that's been going on. And on top of that, the rocket has been refueling, in my opinion, right? And we're going to look into these Ortex numbers and see why I think that. Why do I think that, this is okay? I'm actually looking forward to the consolidation. This is some solid levels. In the previous stream, we did say how, what was it? $60 is the new $14, right? And so we you test it a little bit, you go above it for a second, go back down below it. But whenever you get that solid breakthrough, it brought us all the way to 30, which brought us to 60 and 70. It's wild. So that's what I think is going. But we got the mods hanging out. That's sick. So cool. Diane, tell them I said hello. Welcome. Well, let's hide the chat really quick, and we'll go ahead and keep it going. So, dog, good evening, all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. David, say, hey, another good day in AMC land. I love it. Love the confidence. Rania, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, Corey, yeah, I'm right here, my friend. David, getting ready to go on, I assume. Oh, answering Rania, thank you. Let's see. George says, tempting to sell my AMC. George, I would challenge you to think of why you feel that way, right? And if here's the deal, if you, like I always say, if you need to pay your bills, take care of your rent, feed yourself, your family, then that's one story, right? But if you're bored and like just I'm ready to move the money, that is literally what Warren Buffett says is bad. He says, the patient people are the ones who are rewarded essentially in the stock market, right? The stocks are not granted, we do see the swings and the volatility of everything going on. It's kind of a weird fluke right now, right? It's a weird market. Everything is the whole country is just kind of crazy right now. It's on the fritz. So, of course there are other plays happening right now, right? We can look at the tops. You guys know I love looking at the tops for the day. We can look at the one day and we can see some stocks are having some crazy moves. They're having some crazy moves, and it doesn't really. There are other plays that are happening, right? Look, space was up 38% on the day. It's just wild. Anything else that we recognize here? But would you have been in space, right? And would you have made the move, right? What if you move over to space or wherever you're thinking about going, and then AMC moves now, right? And now you missed it. So, these are things that you have to think about. Do you actually want to find a different investment because you think it's a better investment? Or are you trying to switch because you're bored and you don't want a diamond hand anymore and it's boring? Then that's that. For me, I feel like I'm in a situation where I'm fine with being bored. I'm more than happy with being bored, right? If I have to hold, here's the deal. Someone told me, hey, you have to hold. Imagine if you had the chance to get into Bitcoin or something, right? And there's a chance that Bitcoin is gonna, Bitcoin back in 2011, right? Or even beforehand. So let's say you get in and you put all this money and stuff, but now you have to wait X amount of years for it to go. Let's say you have to wait 10 years to make all this money. Would you do it? Would you do it? And so, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with AMC, but in my personal plan is to just hold AMC because I feel like that's my best chance at a golden ticket, right? I already purchased my ticket. I'm waiting for the numbers getting read off. And, there are always new numbers coming out. And with each number being read, I might not get all 6 numbers, but maybe I'll win a partial prize, right? And that is what I'm, at the very least, I will have already gotten a partial prize, which I'm very, very happy with. But I do believe that there's more on the table. So, and this is not to sway you or anything. It's just giving you my own personal beliefs of why I hold. I've been holding for a long time. But, whenever you're in stocks, you hold it. If you were to buy in the S&P 500 and keep putting money into the S&P 500 for 60 years, or I guess it would be 40 years around to retire or whatever, then, that's what people do. That's the whole point of it all, right? Of the stock market. It's really not a get rich quick scheme. It can be, absolutely, people win the lottery, but even if you play the lottery, ask them how many times they played the lottery before they actually won the lottery. So these are just different concepts, and again, I'm not trying to sway your decision, but I'm just trying to help you get to the root of why you're kind of, are you just having a rough day or something? But think about your why, is it worth it? The opportunity cost is all you're losing by holding. Is the opportunity cost better elsewhere? Do you think you would have been in another play and made more money? Realistically, right? Because I'll tell you what, I can look at these all day and I say, dang, if I would have been in Iconics right here, I would have made so much money. But you know what? The chances of me being in Iconics, 0%. There's no way I would have ever found this company ever and purchased it, right? And the companies are different every single day, essentially, that are on this list. So that's how I look at it. While we're here, let's take a look at the top losers for the one day. You guys know I like to take a look at these, see if there's an opportunity here. And no, I'm not really seeing anything I recognize on here, which is fine. Always happy with that. See what David says. So David says, I honestly don't care how long the rip takes at this point. The quicker it comes, the super I get my attendees. The longer it takes, the more moon tickets I will have when it happens. Win-win. David, I love that thought process, right? That's kind of where I was going with my whole analogy is I'll hold. You best believe I'll hold. I'll hold all day. I've been holding for 6 months, 7 months, and that's cool. I'll continue to hold. No problem at all. Texas Oil Yachts, how we doing, fellas? Where my ATOS gang at? I was taking a look at ATOS gang. You did pretty good today, huh? You were doing pretty good. You were up pretty high, at currently ending the day at $8.62, up 8.84%. However, currently in the after hours, you are down 9% at currently sitting at $7.79. Down 9.63%. Now this could be a retracement, right? So we did see here that we just had this level of resistance, and I was looking for a breakthrough, right? And I kind of called it a little bit, I guess. I said if it breaks over this 750 mark, then it could be in seriously bullish territory. It went from 750 all the way to 980. This retracement is getting pretty harsh. I wonder if it will bounce at 750 or if it'll break through and dump. So, if you are holding that, just keep that in. That's my personal thoughts with the technical analysis as far as ATOS is concerned. Now, for all I know, it's going to squeeze on, Monday, and this could go to the moon. But again, not really my play for me personally, but as we saw, there is money being made. Okay. Go back to AMC. Matt, welcome, Matt. I've been getting huge short attacks. Just hold, we're fine. Enjoy listening to Corey on my long drives. Keep my brain moving. Thanks, man. Hey, Matt, no problem. My pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know I do the same. Like I have a long drive. Like 30-minute drive to work and home. And usually I'll listen to Trey Trey. I'll listen to Trey and then some music. He's really the only one I listen to a lot. I listen to some of Matt Core's, but mostly Trey. What's up, Interweb? That is so cool. Diane hanging out with the gangsters. Man, the crew. Awesome. Lex, what's up? AMC's getting ready to squeeze. Yeah, we're gonna talk about AMC right now. Actually, we'll get into GameStop, and I actually want to get into Ortex because this stuff is looking spicy. Hey, Mike, welcome. David. Oh, the other David. Two Davids. Take up a hobby then. 1-800-bananas. Discipline comes with AMC, holding since 12, right? And holding since 12. And who was that was not sure if they wanted to hold? George, how long have you been holding, right? If you've been holding since $12 or something, you're in a good position. Here's the deal. I know on these days, what was messing me up is I was looking at my total amount of money gained and lost, right? Realistically, nothing has been gained or lost because it's unrealized. But, whenever you're down, $10,000 or $5,000 or $5, whatever you're down on in the day, and you may not be feeling so good. You're like, oh my gosh, like I want this money. But you know what? People were saying that over at $20, right? At $20, people were like, oh, okay, is this even going to move anymore? Is this done? Then it went to $30, and you know what happened? Everyone came in the chat. They were like new people, new apes. They would come in and they would say, hey, like, do you think this is going to go anymore? Do you think this is going to continue to run? And I personally did think it's going to run, obviously. Otherwise, I would have sold probably. And I do think it's going to continue to go. And, sure enough, a few people hesitated or whatever. And they said, oh, I wish I would have gotten in on 30. Can you imagine 2 months ago, someone saying, oh, I wish I would have bought AMC at $30? Heck no. People wish they would have bought it $5, right? Then it went up to 10. Then it went up to 14, right? People wish they would have bought it $10 and all the way up. And people wish they bought it $20, $30. I think people are going to wish they bought it $50. I think people are going to wish they bought it $100 eventually. We just have to get there. I will probably be continuing to buy at $100 as my options continue to expire in the money. And I continue to reinvest that money, back into AMC because I don't think it's done. So those options I'm going to keep on accruing and making serious gains just off of that. Now, granted, options are risky, so just keep that in mind if you do decide to play them. But yeah. Prowess, welcome. Prowess says, same here, Ronnie. Holding since 13, long-term holder here. Yeah, same. Enjoy the 4th, relax and hold. Dang, Interweb says, tomorrow is 6 months for AMC for you. Nice. So many call options bought this week. Ant, welcome, Ant. Ant says, Corey, can you give us your best thoughts how price keeps going down with the manipulation? You have to keep in mind, not all, the apes are pretty much spent, right? Unless there's some kind of news catalyst or some kind of reinvigoration of something going on. I do feel like it's probably just lower volume. What was the volume today? Oh my gosh, 77 million. That's extremely low volume. And so that's all that it was, right? Maybe next Friday is payday and we'll see some movements either the following week or on the Friday or next week at some time. Or maybe this Friday's payday. It depends on when you get paid, I guess. But yeah, like I think that right now, let's take a look at Ortex really quick. So Ortex, we can see they're still shorting this stock. They're shorting the crap out of it. And we can take a look, right? Look at the shares on loan. This jumped. The other day, this was, I can't remember the exact number this was, but it was not 97, I'll tell you right now. Shares on loan, 97.13 million. So this has gone up pretty nicely. I can probably get in here. Well, that's okay. We'll just say it's 97.13 million, which is obviously extremely high. Now we can take a look at the utilization over here. So utilization, the other day, this was in the 80s, right? And now it's 91.35%. We're getting back up to the point where this utilization is going to be maxed out. And as we see, not all the time, but usually, it's a pretty good indicator. It's a partial indicator of what's going on whenever we do see let me clear some of these out. Whenever we do see the short interest get really high, we can see that sometimes there's a run. As we can see right here, the utilization was at 100% for how long is this? So let's see, we'll call it, all this time was 90%. You see all this right here? So this is from April 6th to, we'll call it over here, April 6th to May 21st, right? Over a month, it was near 100%. And there was really not much movement. I guess from over here, it went from, let's see, the low of 9.5. And then if we're over here, the low of 13. Oh, okay. I guess you did see a little bit of movement, but not the craziest moves, right? And over here, we can see whenever the utilization was 96, and this was right after it was 100%, whenever it was around 96%. And then we had a huge run. This is when we had our run all the way to 72, right? So this high utilization going back up tells me that I think that we are what is the word I'm looking for? We're refueling the jet. I think this stock is going to run. It's refueling the jet. Like, in my opinion, right? Look at the short interest. We talked about this in yesterday's stream. Short interest skyrocketed. It was at 14% the other day, yesterday. And now it's at 18.67%. These guys are still shorting this thing. They're adding to their shares. They have the fuel. They're gaining the fuel. You can tell because the utilization is going up. That means they're borrowing more shares. There's less shares to borrow, right? That utilization. And so it's just getting, what does this load here? Here we go, utilization. The ratio between the number of shares on loan across, okay, well, anyways, we know the higher the utilization, theoretically, the better everything is looking, right? We can see the borrow change right here. They returned 3.5 million shares. They borrowed, 4 million shares for a borrow change of about 500,000 shares, right? They borrowed more shares than they returned today. Bullish. And so just looking at these numbers, it makes it, and I'm glad I've been looking at these numbers for, not since January, but for a month now, or however long it is. And I've seen the trends. And what's great with this is we can see as far back as, you can see definitely January right here, and you can see what the numbers look like, right? And we can kind of compare to see how we're looking previously to today. And more recently, we can see the run up from, what was the down here, $10 we'll call it, sure, all the way to $70. And we can see that utilization wasn't the only factor, but it did play a part in it as that goes up. And we do know that as the short interest goes higher, that means that each day these hedge funds are paying a lot of money to stay short on this stock. And so what we're waiting for is a short, what is it called? Some kind of margin catalyst, right? Where I'm hoping that these guys finally get margin called. It's probably gonna be coming soon, right? But soon is really relative. It can go any which way. What's down here? Oh, they left you behind. Sorry, Diane. Where's Gensler? So sweet Connie says, but why are they borrowing more? Connie, there are so many different theories as to why they are borrowing more. Nothing really is a good enough answer in my opinion. And I don't think we'll ever truly know until this is all said and done with, and some kind of either a whistleblower comes out, or it's being investigated, or something finally comes out, because it's really hard to say why they're doing that. Now, some theories including, they're hoping that we get bored, right? They want us to be fatigued, to get tired, to get out, to sell out of our position. And this way they can just cover, they can be done with it. What's up, Ian? And I think that's what they're trying, right? They're trying to do whatever they can to suppress the stock. I think they also are forced to suppress the stock at this point, right? I think as soon as they stop borrowing, the stock is going to run like crazy, right? Again, we have a supply versus demand situation, right? And the supply and demand, there's so many positions that are the apes are holding all the stock essentially, right? They're holding all the stock, and people can't get the shares. It's difficult to get the shares. Then the price should be going up. And as that utilization goes higher, the stock is going to be harder to borrow. We're actually going to see one of these articles up here, the Reddit posts about how, AMC is a hard to borrow stock. And I think that as soon as they stop shorting, as soon as they let off the gas, the gas of shorting, or if you want to call it the brakes, whatever you want to call it, as soon as they stop shorting this stock, I think is going to run. And that is why I think they continue. That's probably maybe my favorite theory as to why they probably are continuing to short the stock, because as soon as they stop trying to hold it down, it'll run. But it's hard to say for sure. David Rodriguez. David? Is that David? Okay, what else do we have going on? Ian says, thanks everyone. I'm so new on this making cash is so a win-win. I love it. Making cash is always very, very nice. Congratulations. Matt Kramer says, I still believe it's a computer algorithm, but I'm no expert. Right. So I do believe that it is a computer algorithm doing the trading, right? Doing the short ladder, attacks, the high frequency trading and all that stuff, right? Trading the shares back and forth to artificially drop the price. Now, I do think that it is still the computer, right? David. Well, not that David, but David Rodriguez. I'm wondering if that is, if I know him. So anyways, Dave's not here, man. All right. I guess you're not my David, but, too many Davids. Yeah, there are way too many Davids. I have way too many Davids in my life. But that's all right. That's all right. Okay. So what was it? I still believe it's a computer algorithm. Right. I do believe it is a computer algorithm, still trading this, right? Moving it back and forth. But I think that the more, so many different things, right? So I do think that the higher the utilization goes, the more difficult it becomes for them to continue to trade back and forth, right? They have to purchase those shares from somewhere. And if they can't get the shares, then they can't short. And I think that would make the stock run up. Anthony with the super chat. Thank you so much. Anthony says, just wanted to say thank you and support your platform. Hey, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. That's fantastic. Julio says, so they basically want revenge on us. They have no real business strategy. Julio's, so I do think there is a little bit of business strategy. Remember, these guys, while I think that, here's the deal. Like, at the end of the day, they made a mistake, right? Whether it was out of greed, whether it was out of... I think it was just out of greed, and I think it was out of historically how they've played this kind of situation before, if they've ever been in anything kind of similar, right? Because historically, we won't get into the history just yet, but what I think is happening is these guys, okay, so they got caught in a bad position, right? Hand in the cookie jar, now they're stuck, right? Well, I'm sure that no one has ever actually caught them, right? Maybe it was a coincidence that this happened, but the DD was never shared properly or known or whatever it was. So what happened was, at that point, I'm sure what they did is this: they heavily shorted it. They put the ball rolling. They delayed it for a long time and they suppressed it, right? So the strategy, I think, is for them to force us out of our positions. How do they force us out of our positions? They make the stock trade sideways. They make the stock trade down. They give us a down day or whatever, red day. They drag it out, right? They try to do whatever they can to make the stock look unappetizing so that no one wants to be in the stock. And I think that is exactly what they're trying to do. Historically, I'm sure it's worked beautifully for them, right? No one wants to be in these stocks. And so it probably worked perfectly for them in the past. So they were like, you know what, this is a tried and true method. Let's go ahead and knock it out. And that's what they're doing. Eventually, and we can see this right here, right? The average age of these positions, we can see 30 days. What was 30 days ago? Uh, 30 days, we'll say 25. Sure, we'll call it $15. Sure, $16. We'll give them $16.50. We'll call it 17 for all I care. So let's say it's $17. Now these guys, guess what? These guys are freaking bad. They're in a bad position. They're in a really bad position. And the reason is because if they were short at $16, let's say, and now we're at $54, I mean, they're down. They're down bad. And so that's why I think that they're just stuck at this point. So they're just trying to keep on keep it down, keep it short, keep it down. And the final thing I would want to say on that is you have to keep in mind, like we've seen the numbers, it's costing these guys, you know, billions of dollars so far, probably tens of billions of dollars to keep these stocks, multiple stocks, heavily shorted stocks down, because everyone is holding these stocks. Now, remember, they're a business. As much as they don't want to be, you know, embarrassed or whatever, at the end of the day, I don't think they really care. I think they care about, can they win this battle? Do they think they can win this battle? What will it take to win this battle, right? You have to keep in mind, from a business standpoint, it is about what is the better cost, right? So for example, let's say if and when they cover, it is going to cost them $1 trillion, right? Just an arbitrary number. I don't know what it would actually cost them. Let's just say it would cost them $1 trillion, right, for them to cover. Well, why wouldn't they try and so if it's going to cost them $1 trillion, they would much rather spend $100 billion, right? Imagine, to try and keep the stock down, because it's worth it. If they can spend $1 billion and make $100 billion even, and make the apes leave and they finally win, that's great. Because the alternative is to lose, in this scenario, $1 trillion. Again, these are arbitrary numbers, but we have seen that they have been losing billions of dollars over the past 6 months. They've been losing a lot of money. But again, it's about which one is going to be worse. Which one is going to be. You have to pick your poison, right? Do you want to try? You might as well try this, because if you get to $1 trillion, either you're out of business, or it's just, that's, who knows what happens at that point. But so hopefully that kind of explains that a little bit. I hope I did okay in explaining that. From just a business standpoint, it makes financial sense in a way to try it, at least before the crazy stuff goes bad. David says, why do you think they keep pushing articles about other squeeze opportunities? Do they want us to move on and let them win? Well, we have to keep in mind, so there's a few different things going on. We have to remember that not every stock is a squeeze, right? Right now, you have to keep in mind, these are buzzwords. These are buzzwords on what is going on with these new traders. So for example, if there's a bunch of new investors, right? A bunch of new apes. If I can be on, if I'm CNBC or whatever, or, Fox News or whatever, and let's say my audience, my typical audience is older, you know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity. There's a bunch of new apes in the market. Why do you think Webull has had all their promotions? Why do you think Robinhood now Robinhood's doing new promotions for a different reason, but all of these people trying to do promotions to get everyone to their platform. They want people watching their show. They want people watching this. And because people love a get rich quick scheme in a way, right? So I think that these guys are trying to push this to say, hey, come over to me and subscribe to my channel and by my channel, I mean like Motley Fool. They want you to subscribe to their stuff, all these there's platforms that they want you to subscribe to their newsletter, whether it's paid or free. And then now you're their customer. You eat whatever they give you. and you're happy about it, right? Whatever they give you, like, oh yeah, more stuff. Oh yeah, this is a squeeze. This is a possible squeeze. And then you make, the stock goes up 10% or whatever, and they'll probably be like, yep, it was a squeeze. We told you so. You're welcome. So anyways, it's just so ridiculous. Like, so I think that's why they're doing it. It's not only, and I think we learned that Market Watch is like, Citadel has a large stake in Market Watch. I don't know if that actually affects anything, but there's a lot of interesting things going on. But realistically, I think a lot of the articles are trying to be clickbait. They're all trying to clickbait you. Even Ortex, and as much as we were using Ortex and stuff, remember, these things are tools. These are not, you're going to go to, or like, oh, Ortex is the greatest thing ever. No, even Adam Aaron, right? As much as I like Adam Aaron, has his own agenda. His agenda is to make sure AMC is sustainable. So whenever he leaves and retires, he's not, he leaves a good legacy, right? He's had a fantastic history of running companies. His agenda is to make sure AMC does well in the future. That's it. He doesn't care about a squeeze. He doesn't care about he cares about the apes currently because they're his shareholders. But realistically, he has one goal. And I understand he has one goal. I don't blame him. Now, Ortex even, right? Ortex, what is their goal? They're a business. They want to sell you things. So as they have these short squeeze indicators and now they're being, they're following Matt and everything. What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to grab the new apes and get them on their platform. And guess what? They're succeeding. They're doing a fantastic job. I have Ortex. I didn't want to buy Ortex, but guess what? I have to have Ortex for what's going on. I do think it's going to be worth it from a financial aspect, like in the future, like for the play, like I can watch the play, monitor the play, and we can kind of talk about it together. But just keep in mind that all of these guys have their agenda, and that's that. So a little bit of a rant there, but these are things that people have to keep in mind, right? Every single person has an agenda. My agenda, I hope that AMC does well. Like I'm watching the stock anyways. Like you guys are watching the stock anyways. Why not watch it? And I would love to hear your opinions, and you love to hear my opinions. And if you and that's that, right? Like I'm not telling you what to do. You're not telling me what to do. I don't think we could tell each other what to do. Even if I told you, hey, everybody go buy ATOS, like I don't think anyone's going to do that. So, luckily, some interests are more aligned than others, right? Like my interests are aligned with Ortex, and y'all's interests are aligned with Ortex because we want to look at those numbers, right? We want to see what Ortex is offering. I would love to see the short interest for AMC, GameStop, right? This gives me a decent indication of what is going on in the stock market. So yeah, I digress, but hopefully that helps break it down just a little bit. But long story long, I don't think every stock is a short squeeze. I think that people have agendas. So David, I do want to read this one. David says, they are hiding the shares. Wait, they're hiding shorts and deep in the money calls. Can they indefinitely kick the can down the road? David, I think that it is very possible, right? Well, not indefinitely. So I will say, I think they are currently able to kick the can down the road. I think something is going to give. And I don't know what that something is quite yet. I think it is going to be in the form of a rule, right? They are uncovering, and when I say they are, I mean the apes are uncovering what's going on, and then the SEC is learning from it, from the apes, I'm sure, and then they're trying to fix it, right? They're trying to fix it. And even if they don't find every single little detail from the apes, I do think that they are it's sparking something for the SEC to finally implement these rules, and that's okay. Like there are things like that happen in other industries and stuff, that something sparks something, gets a little bit of inspiration or finally a light bulb comes on, which is fine. It would have been nice if these were fixed a long time ago, but I do think that we're seeing a little bit of progress. And I know a lot of people aren't really optimistic for these new filings and all this stuff, but realistically, at the very least, remember, everybody has their own agenda. The agenda of the DTCC releasing all these new filings is, I think, for the sole reason they think that something might go awry and they don't want to be bag holding. That's why I think they're releasing all of these filings, because pertaining to what's going on, again, my favorite is I think it's 006, where they said, you know what, we're actually just going to have, whenever we release a rule and it's approved, it's just going to be in effect immediately rather than waiting the 10 days for it to go into effect, because we don't know when something's going to give, so we don't want to risk it. So that's their agenda. They want to have something out, right? Like, that didn't make any sense. They want to make sure they're not stuck bag holding. They want to have these guys out of their way. I see Mike and Kim talking about options and stuff. I do have a video on options. I do not talk about covered calls or covered options, but the great part is right here in Webull. If you do have Webull, I highly recommend. I mean, here's the deal. You can use my link, don't use my link. I don't care what you do. But Webull's freaking cool. Like, you can go in here and you can see, okay, if a covered stock, so usually what you want to do is, let's say you think it's going to hit $70 next week, then you can go ahead, or that's today. So let's say you go for next week. Let's say you think it's going to hit $70 next week. So you can go ahead and you can get it purchased, right? So the cost is going to cost you right here, your max loss. So the premium, they're the same. So we'll say $5,200. Your max profit though is $1,700. So the only thing about covered calls is you can make money a little bit quicker if it's just in the money. So that's nice. But if it's not in the money, then you obviously can lose some serious amount of money. But also, if it goes up to, let's say next week is the squeeze, the stock goes to $500 in a day or something crazy, right? Then, well, you can only make $1,700 no matter how high it goes. So covered calls are interesting. Like, currently with the volatility, because I'll show you this, the single option here, let's say you wanted it to get it just out of the money at $55, your break even here is $59. So it would have to go over $59, and by next Friday, in order to make any money, it's going to cost you $430. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking at these options. I highly recommend this graph. I mean, it's a dream come true. Honestly, this graph is so helpful. I love it so much. Oh, that's another thing. So thank you, David, answering the other David. They can kick the can down the road, I think until a filing is released, but also they are paying, remember, this short interest. And as the short interest goes up, they're paying a lot more. This is very, very, very high short interest. I'm curious to see what it'll be Monday in case it moves a little bit. That's super. Here's the deal. At 10%, this is high. It was at 14%. Even honestly, anything above like 5% is really high, from my understanding of the short interest. And this is crazy, right? This is just insane. I'm actually curious what Tesla looks like, because I know Tesla, there was like a short interest thing and all that craziness. I'm curious what this looks like. 4%, yeah. So, and we're at 18%. I mean, this is just wild. And you can see the difference in numbers and stuff, like utilization, 6.24. AMC's at 91% utilization. Shares on loan. Now, this kind of depends on the float and stuff. That'll show you how. I mean, not only on the float, but I think it's a better indicator because GameStop is much smaller. Anyways, there's a bunch of different numbers. I try to think of it as a percentage and think of what percentage of the float is on loan. So yes, and yeah, so we can see what's going on here. Can I just press back? Nice. AMC. Let's do it like that. Oh. All right, we'll just pull this back up. Why is this not showing? Nope. All right, that's fine. We'll leave the chart out for a second. Ant says, what are your thoughts of many option contracts far out dates being bought 3 times the strike price? Okay, so Ant, so personally, whenever I play options, I try to buy them just out of the money. But you know, let's say you were to go, I really don't like these January of 23 ones. I think that's way too far out. But you know, if you wanted to play it super far out, I mean, I feel like January is probably pretty dang good. I mean, if you're feeling crazy, maybe July. But honestly, I do like the September ones personally. So if I were to get the September ones, personally, the way I play options, I like to buy them just out of the money. I know it's much more expensive, but I just think it's worth it to be so much closer. Like even here, look, the break even is $74, right? I wonder what the break even is out here. It's probably cheaper because of the, yeah. So, oh no, 119. Oh, well, you're already higher. So never mind. It wouldn't be cheaper, but yeah, 119 is that. So now here's the deal. It's all about how bullish you are, how much you think it's going to happen. Because right here, I mean, there's some serious money to be made right here at the $145 strike. It has to hit 152. But you have a lot of time for this to happen, right? If you really believe in it, you think it's going to happen. Great. But keep in mind, it is risky. So that's why I just like to buy them. Now, granted, you could probably buy, 2 for the, at this 155 one, you could buy 2, or, at 145, you could buy 2 for the price of 155 one, or 155. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? But I will put it this way. Back whenever we were looking at the June 18th strike, right? Those June 18th $40 strike. Those contracts were, I remember at one point they were $39 a piece, right? $39. Those people who bought those, and at the time the price of the stock was, I think, like $10 or something. And the people who purchased those made out like bandits. And I know because I purchased those, and holy smokes. Wow. Is what I'll say. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Let's look at some of the DD over here. DD, I say DD, but let's look at a few of these things and see what we have, and we'll go from there. So right here, this little post on AMC stock. Wall Street got caught in a bad bet. They're trying to scare you into selling. They're throwing a tantrum before being forced to pay up. And this goes along with what we talked about before, right? Why are they still shorting? What's the dealio, right? Why? What is going on? And again, I think the only way, I think they're stuck. I think they just got caught in a bad bet, right? Here's the deal. We've all made our fair share of bets in our lives, whether it's actually with money or with other things, right? Other kinds of opportunity cost of even as simple as, breaking up with your significant other, and, whether it was a good decision or a bad decision, right? And you're like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have broke up with that person. They were good. This new person's not so good, or whatever it might be, right? It can be as simple as that, or if that's complex, or whatever, it can be anything, right? You can think of, oh man, I wish I would have done that instead of this. And that's what happened with Wall Street, right? They got in, they should have got out whenever after that first gamma squeeze in January, but no, they continue to stay in. Even after the company was not going bankrupt, they stayed in. It was a terrible bet. It was a terrible bet. Awful. Didn't make any sense. And this is going to be the mother of all short squeezes for several reasons, right? Or people believe it's going to be the mother of all short squeezes because I personally, I don't think this will ever happen again. For at least for a very, 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 very long time, if not ever, right? This is going to be a case study. I truly believe already with everything going on, this is going to be a case study in just so many different aspects, but from in the finance world of what happens whenever you naked short, you're over leveraged, you are short more than the float, whatever it would be. There are so many different things. It's probably going to be in the chapter of shorting, right? In colleges or whatever. But what was I saying? Sorry, I read a comment. And this is what's going on. I think that and some of the filings, we talked about the filings. I also do think that the filings are actually going to well, we saw, it looks like some of the filings are set up for a collapse, right? So what I mean by this is, let's say a hedge fund or, one of their members or an institution or whatever, for example, Citadel, let's say they were to go under. They basically structured it so that the other people aren't taken out with them, right? They're not being taken out with them. And hedge funds, right, specifically Citadel, if they do go down, it's very possible they're going to try to bring everyone with them, right? And for all we know, that's why they continue to short as well, right? They figure, you know what? We're going to go down. We're going to bring the whole system down with us. We're going to make the DTCC pay. We're going to make, and remember, because the reason the DTCC would have to pay is because if Citadel or whoever goes under, if they go out of business, bankrupt, then the DTCC is insured for $67 trillion that will pay the attendees. And if for any reason the DTCC cannot pay it, at that point, the Federal Reserve will pay it, right? Fail safes, which is why they're releasing these new rules. So these guys will have to cover sooner than later without crumbling the whole system. All right. And so that's what I think is going on. Texas Oil Yas with the super chat. Thank you. Here's another freebie, PUBM. All right. What is this? Let's see, 46% short interest, very low float, and is a good company. Thoughts? PUBM. Pubmatic. I feel like my internet is about to go down. So this one's interesting. So I guess we're looking more at a short squeeze rather than anything. It's really hard to say. I mean, I would love to look at the different numbers. I mean, for me, I think I'm going to take a deep dive one day on all of these shorts. But realistically, I'm probably looking for a break over here above this 4250, which is very close, and it's very possible that it'll step up. I'm curious if it'll retrace a little bit again. It did already have a run from, small run. Well, it's been running for a little bit, 31 all the way to 42, which is not too crazy. There is definitely room for some kind of movement, right? Some kind of real run. But what I think is going to happen here is you're going to be looking for a push, right? A retest of this 4259. I'll draw a horizontal line really quick. Feel pretty confident with this one right here. Sure. 4253, we'll call it. Sure. And right here, in the after hours, kind of down a little bit, but currently at 4212, really not too crazy. But in the pre-market, if it pushes through, I'm very curious. Let me zoom out here a little bit, see if there's anything historically that we'd be looking at. Coming back. This one's a little bit tricky. It could be forming a huge cup and handle, right? Looks like it's going down. It's going to be the cup. So again, personally not taking a position, but I wonder if it'll break through here. I guess we'll have to watch. We'll watch it. My AC, I'm not AC. My internet seems to be really working today. Thor says, I believe they're already bankrupt. What is the difference between going bankrupt with money in the account or with nothing left? They are just hoping for a bailout this time. And that's a good point, right? I don't know if they are going to be bailed out. One of my theories is they're not going to bail them out, right? Because they're going to use them as an example. They're going to use them to set an example. Excuse me, an example, right? And I mean, for all I know, if we want to get really crazy speculative, we could say it's the government would rather. Well, one of my theories is the government would rather the apes get paid and pay all of our capital gains tax, right? Short-term capital gains taxes, help out the U.S. economy for a little bit, and do that, or maybe they'll let them go under and have someone else, I don't know, another hedge fund who they can better control, or we can say, hey, we gave you this bone, so you're gonna have to like scratch our back down the road. I don't know, some crazy like conspiracy theory stuff. But right, Citadel, for example, is probably too big to fail. I mean, which is really a shame, because if a company is too big to fail, there shouldn't be anything that's too big to fail, right? Like, it seems so fragile. If this company is too big to fail, it seems extremely fragile, right? For them to, it just seems super fragile, too fragile for the whole economy to be propped up by these companies. Granted, they're a big company, but if they can be caught in a quick, in a position like this, it's just not really a good look. I saw, Corey, do you have a position in NNDM? I don't. Here's the deal. I don't remember having a position in nano dimensions. I might have a position in nano dimensions, or I did. I probably just liquidated it and put it all into AMC. So I'm not gonna lie. So I don't think so. Charles, I don't know who sold. I haven't sold my GameStop. I assume you're talking to someone else. Tony says, if you don't mention the internet problem, everyone will think it's their internet messing up. Oh my gosh, that'd be too funny. Hey, Lee, what is up? Your name. Talking to Tom? All right, let's go ahead and continue over here. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I did want to address this really quick, because I don't know, I just don't want people to get a wrong impression or something. But so Charles Payne, as we know, he's on the Fox News, and he has Trey's come on, Matt Corey's come on, all that good stuff. And more recently, he called David Portnoy a certain word that I will not repeat. But breaking news: SEC Chief Gary Gensler declined my invitation to come on my show. It's very frustrating, and while I can speculate on why, I will keep asking. So, I'm very curious as to what he's speculating on. Now, I feel like this is more so, and the reason why I bring this up is because I don't think it was about the interview with David Portnoy, anything like that. I think it's because he is not allowed to talk about what's been going on, right? Gary Gensler, yeah, sure. I'm sure he wouldn't care if he went on. He could probably go on, but he's not allowed to talk about what's going on. There's most likely, remember, there's been a bunch of whistleblowers, and now we can't really speculate as to where those whistleblowers are, or who they're from, or whatever. But if there's an active investigation or open investigation, whether it's public or not, he's not allowed to talk about it. He's not allowed to talk about what the heck is going on. So I'm sure Gary Gensler is just probably saying, you know what, it's not worth my time. It's not worth your time for me to go on the show. So that's kind of my thought. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what's happening. I'm really not too worried about Gary Gensler not going on the show. I think this is not my favorite thing that Charles would do. I wish he would say a little more as to, I can speculate on why, but maybe he's not allowed to say. But I don't like this. It's like if Trey wouldn't come on my show and I started going and I'm like, well, Trey doesn't want to come on the show, so I guess he has something to hide. It's like I really don't care for this kind of display. Okay, now keep in mind I cannot confirm the validity of this, but actually, I guess we'll look at a few comments and see if anyone has. But this person says, Aviv says, I literally just received a call from Charles Schwab asking me if I was interested in lending out my shares of AMC and GameStop for next week, since Schwab doesn't have any shares left in their portfolio that they are willing to lend out. Wow, shorts are looking to cover. Well, I don't think they're looking to cover. I think they're looking to add to their position to their shorts and continue shorting. But unless these guys are short in these stocks, I'm really not sure. But this is very interesting, right? These shares, and again, this goes kind of hand in hand with that utilization going sky high. This is bothering me so bad. I think this goes hand in hand with that utilization going sky high, right here. Just very interesting as to why that is going high. They're so high. Come on, chart. Come on, chart. Yeah, we got the chart. So yeah. So just an interesting thought. Again, more speculation. Let's see if anyone had a call. The phone calls I get are about my car's extended warranty. Those calls are so annoying. Again, source, trust me, bro. Yeah. Who's this? This is OP. I called Schwab and it's true. Please call Schwab. Anybody actually call? Let's see if anyone says anything. That's all right. We'll just continue. Whoops. Right, lending shares. This is what I was saying. This person was a little confused. Anyways, that's that. So this goes back to that person. I think it was George who was in the top of the chat, right at the very, very beginning, right here. I guess I'll just wait another week to become a multi-millionaire. I'm not sure about you guys, but if someone told me that I just had to be bored for a few weeks to become disgustingly rich, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat, right? I guess it's my time for it's time for my 10 a.m. nap, sponsored by Kenny G and Citadel, right? And this is I'm happy to see this because I know I say it all the time, right? And I just legitimately mean it whenever I say how I feel about my position and yada yada. But this stuff is looking nice. I think it's looking good personally, and I can hold. If someone told me, hey, Corey, here's the deal. I'll tell you what, if it was legitimate and they said, hey, I'll tell you what, give me $1,000. You have a 20% chance that you're going to win this lottery, right? And for each $1,000, you're going to get $100,000, whatever it's going to be, right? If you win, you have a 20% chance to win. Would you play that lottery? Or, if you played it and it was $1 million or something, you know what I mean? Like, would you play that lottery? Like, I would. I think I would play that lottery if I actually believed it, right? If I actually believed it. But for me, it's worth it. If I have to wait, here's the deal. If I had to wait 2 years, 10 years, right? Because I don't believe I'll ever see that kind of money in just without trying something different, right? Without trying something. And so I hate that I'm ending on this one, but unreported dark pool numbers are over 99.71% over the last 8 days. Last 2 days, 100 reported. I'm not sure if this is 100%, 100, or what exactly this means, but seems like there's something here. Again, I'm not an expert on dark pools. I'm not an expert on all this stuff. This is a super long post. I'm not trying to read every single word through the post. So keep that in mind. But, you know, and again, I don't even know if this, well, I shouldn't have showed this. I don't know if it's accurate. But as we know with dark pools, I mean, dark pools are so sketchy. They're the sketchiest things ever. Must mean buy and hold. Real, you know what's so funny is whenever I see these long posts that I really just can't. I feel kind of bad, but I can't really be bothered to interpret all of them. You know, obviously I've gone through my fair share of DD and everything. At the end of the day, I found the common denominators is essentially just buying and holding is essentially what is the best thing for me personally to do. You know, you can make your own decisions, but for me, buying and holding seems to be the right play. I'm doing very well just buying and holding, right? So yeah. I posted on my best 5 days of data. Yeah. And that's what we have. These guys are sells the dip. Unbelievable. David Portnoy. Yeah, I see Mike over here talking. I don't trust the dilution. Must vote no to that period. They can ask again later. Mike, you know, I am in a similar boat. Realistically, as much as I really would love to give Adam Aaron those 25 million shares. I know what it means to him, and I know it means way more than him than it does to any ape, right? More than likely. And I just don't think it's worth it. Like I don't want to give him the shares as much as I wish I could give him the shares, right? But I don't want any additional shares into the market. There's already been too many shares, enough shares, and I'm very sure that as soon as he's able to use them, January 1st of 2022, I'm sure he will use them first chance he gets, so that he can just raise more capital to not be in debt anymore, right? And maybe that's a great play and everything. Maybe that's the right thing to do. But I just cannot vote yes to that, right? I will wait until the very last moment, last day or two to vote. But until something gives, I'm not going to be doing it. What the heck? So that's that. Texas Oil Yacht says, I have an actual question for all the AMC longs here. Why do you think this will squeeze? There's 500 million shares in the float compared to GameStop's 50 million. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, the numbers are essentially, they're very similar, right? Because you're thinking about total numbers instead of percentage, right? And it's not about total number. It's about the percentage. For example, let's say what's an easy example? Oh gosh, let's say crime rate. Okay, let's just do crime rate. Let's say everything's the same. Nothing's changed, no laws, let's say we had the same president or whatever for, because we're not going to get into the politics of it. But let's say we had crime rate, right? We have crime rate in, let's say 1950. So crime rate in 1950 versus crime rate in 2020. Okay. Those are two different things. Now, what's happened since that time? The population has increased. Right? So naturally, if you're looking at total amount of crimes committed, that number has gone up, right? Let's say there were 1 million crimes committed in 1950, and let's say in 2020, there are 20 million crimes committed, right? But what if there's probably not that many times the people, but you get what I'm saying, right? you have to see it as a percentage. If the crime rate in 1950 was 10% and the crime rate in 2020 is 10%, okay, well it's the same, right? It's the same ratio of people to crime. Now, that's how that you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it by the total amount of shares versus total amount of shares, when yes, the floats are different. I'll be the first one to tell you, right? It's not even a question of it's not an opinion, it's a fact. The shares, the floats are different, but it's the percentages, right? You can see the shares on loan. There's about for GameStop, I think there's let's take a look really quick. There, let's just do GME. Oh gosh, hope I load. Right here, boom, shares on loan. So it's about 20%, right? About 20%. And for AMC, the shares on loan, and again, we can see the utilization is way worse than AMC, and the short interest is, this is about a quarter, not a quarter, but a third. I mean, almost a third of what AMC is. And on top of that, the short interest is lower for GameStop than it is for AMC. Whereas here, let's just call it, if we were to say 100 million, it's still the same percentage, right? It's about 20% of the overall float. And keep in mind, we're not including naked shorts or anything like that. So, I think we're looking at the wrong kind of numbers. We should be looking at percentages, not total numbers. And you're gonna come on, preach. I'll check it out. I understand we're squeezing out everyone who shorted under $40 levels by holding. They have to pay up maintenance. Yeah. They have to pay. Keep in mind, I mean, here's the deal. They're paying a lot of short interest. No matter how you look at it. I don't care how you're looking at it. They are paying a whole lot of short interest, regardless of how you look at it. And that's a good point. And that's something I did want to go into, that GameStop did have above 100%, well, not short interest, a 100% of, it's not the short interest, over 100% of the, what was it? The over 100% of the float was shorted. It was something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah. So GameStop was in a very different position. But AMC still, as we can see, has a lot of potential. And AMC has a certain kind of sentiment behind it as well. Here's the deal. I think they're both going to squeeze. I hope they both squeeze. I hope everyone makes a whole lot of money, and the institutions go bankrupt. That'd be fantastic. But we'll have to see. I own both. I own both as well, Peter. So that's what I think. Let me take a look over here, and let's go to Super Strong. Oh, the free float. Thank you, Diamond. Diamond, you got it. Thank you, Diamond. Percentage of the free float, over 147% of the free float was shorted. I think it was. Let's go over here to Super Stonk, and let's see if there's anything here. There's a lot of employees. 35,000 employees. Maybe throughout entire GameStop, not this one store. Oh, Russell 1000, finally in the Russell 1000. Congratulations. No one is nervous. No one is selling. No one is tired. I love it. DTCC update, submission of rule filing 011. Oh gosh, what is this one now? We'll take a look. Let's see. Amendments relating to confidential information, market disruption events, and systems disconnect rule. What the heck? It sounds like it's made for Robinhood. Jeez. Let's see. Holy smokes, they're going to cut off Citadel like a gangrenous foot. Yeah, like gangrene I don't know how to. They're gonna amputate. Or spoiler alert. Let's see. The writing on the wall. Man, this is crazy. Confidential information, market disruption events. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll believe it when I see it. For me, again, nothing has changed. Let's actually go to the source really quick and let's see if we can actually read this filing. Oh, this is all it is. They filed a rule. Let me see if I can get a good part to it. Okay, so here's what they want to do. Revise certain provisions in the rules relating to the treatment of confidential information by the DTC and its participants. They also want to add certain officers who are allowed to determine that there is a market disruption event under the market disruption and force majore rule, and add a new rule to address situations in which it is necessary to disconnect a participant from DTC system due to an imminent threat of harm to DTC and or participants. You know, it's actually very interesting. This is right in line with what I've been seeing, right? As you guys know, I broke down a bunch of these filings, right? The DTCC, NSCC, all these filings on the website, and this is right in line with what I talked about earlier, right? Kind of the building structure of having the building fall straight down rather than, in this case, a hedge fund falling straight down rather than clawing around and taking everyone with them, right? This is seemingly what Citadel, or the other hedge funds as well as Citadel, maybe what they're trying to do. If they're trying to keep shorting the stock, put in all the money to cause a catastrophic failure rather than them just going under, they're trying to make it huge so it just trickles down, right? And it seems like this one, what they're trying to do is get them out so they don't harm, like I said before, right? The building analogy being whenever they come down, they don't claw and grab the other ones. So they're trying not to harm the other DTC members, right? Or participants. They don't want to harm anyone, just the one entity that is in a bad position or multiple entities that are in bad positions. So again, right in line with what has been going on. Gosh, unreal, honestly. Unreal. So is this one enacted? This is what number is this? 11. So this one's new. And then it looks like 7 goes with it. I guess this is for the NSCC. This is for the DTCC. It's just a mess, honestly. Just never ends. Interesting. The reverse repo did go down a little bit. So OBV, the on balance volume, this little purple, I believe this is the purple one right here, showing that it is, people are still holding the stock. No one is selling the stock, right? This stock is still being held, right? It's wild. Let's see, Diamond. Corey, tinfoil hat on. Oh boy, here we go. What if the margin call happened on Tuesday or Wednesday, and now the liquidation will start on Monday? But they aren't telling anyone, so the apes start buying like crazy. That's interesting. I mean, it's so hard to say, right, with what happened. I would love it. That'd be great. But we'll have to see. GameStop, thank you for appreciating the analogies. I feel like the easiest way to explain things is analogies. Like, I personally love a good analogy. If someone gives me a good analogy, oh my gosh, I just like, that's what I say. I legit thought this was some kind of post for an ape who was like, I'm gonna fix my teeth with my gains. I was like, you know what? Good for you. Great job. This is the duality of man, right? Just effing buy and hold, nothing else. The sub is literally called this sub literally called this week Hype Week. Anyways, and then this one's like, I love dates. I'm never disappointed. Jacked every day. The duality of man. Let's see. Yeah, that's about all I have. Oh yeah, here's the dates guy. That's funny. I can't show that. I get in trouble by YouTube. All right. But oh, we got a new crew member. Welcome, 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 Lee. Oh, 2 months, I guess. Okay, it's 2 months. I was like, new crew member. 2 months on Lee. Congratulations. Oh yeah. So the market did end. So let's take a look at what happened at the end of the day right here. Yeah, I mean, looking good. Up 0.30% on the after hours at 54.22 to end the day. Friday. Crazy. Let's look at the 1 month, and let me zoom out a little bit just so we can see what's going on here. Huge bull flag, I think, still. I'm gonna have to decide whenever a bull flag. I'm gonna have to look into this because I don't know when a bull flag is just a consolidation at this point, or if it's or what. But this is just amazing looking. I'm just enjoying looking at it. Looks real nice. I put my analogy in the Discord. Oh, thanks, Diane. I'll check it out. Yes, Mike. I'll read this actually because I agree. So someone made a good suggestion the other day. I think I talked about it on the stream, but we'll say it again. Have your broker's phone number written down ahead of time in case you need it, right? So just in case, the squeeze is happening. I don't know what happens. The EMP blast, I really don't know what it would be. But have that number ready to go, saved in your phone, whatever you need, just in case the app goes down or their website goes down. Who knows what will happen. But just be ready, just in case. Oh, okay, so I'm going to update my info. Okay, gotcha. Frame a lot of apartment buildings, hard to see. Yeah, I don't know what happened in Miami. Yeah, it's wild for sure. Let's tell them what bull flag looks. Yeah. No, yeah, this is a bull flag. It's getting real big. But I'll count it. Remember, zoom out. Look at this. Look at this. This is, if we go here, look how small this thing is. So, on a small little chart, this could be a bull flag. Looks good to me. But what are we getting ready for? Hamo, we're getting ready for, I think I'm getting ready for some kind of movement. Realistically, it's not going to take much for me to get ready. All I have to do is hold. Very easy. Easy peasy. But Ariel, that's what I have for you guys. I just wanted to, log on. Obviously not the craziest day today. We did end the week at 54.22 on AMC, and GameStop ending at 208 even. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm looking forward to, next week. I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to continue to hold next week as well. Spoiler alert. But you know what? I'm always happy. It's always such a good time hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. But Velocity says it's getting difficult to hold conviction. To be honest, this week is really sideways. It's been sideways for a while, right? Here's the deal. At the end of the day, you can see it's been sideways, right? But how long did we trade sideways for back here? Like, we traded sideways. I mean, let me zoom out. Look at this. We traded sideways, and granted, at the end of the day, it was up, but this was, we'll call it February. Sure, we'll call it kind of died down in February. So we'll say February all the way, ups and downs, all the way to March, April, May, right? February to May, that was 5 months of consolidation. And I'll tell you right now, if I have to wait another 5 months for consolidation, I'll freaking do it. It's worth it to me. It is literally worth it for me to hold and wait 5 months for consolidation. And again, it can happen anytime beforehand, right? GameStop took a while, had had some moves, and then it was like, look how flat this looks though compared to where it went, right? How flat it looks compared to where it went. This stock, again, it just sometimes it takes a while, but whenever you get your movement, you get the craziness, then you can, you see how it can pay. And I'm literally willing to wait this much time to see if it pays. It's worth it in my opinion. But all right, guys, I am gonna start heading out for real this time. I wanted to just get velocity really quick, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys Monday. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Remember, you don't need to look at the charts and stuff. Take a step back. If you're feeling a little fatigued, if you're feeling anything, read some DD, watch a movie. If you want an inspirational movie, watch The Big Short. The Big Short is, man, hyped up. You get hyped up after you watch that. Watch the Enron documentary. Watch what's been going on. It's a nice break, but it also keeps you a little bit aware of what has gone on and what's been going on. And I think it's very relevant to watch. All right. But all right, you guys have a great night. I appreciate you all. Peace.